Hey guys, I'm Victoria Fuller. Welcome to my podcast, Uncensored Saints. Batsheva Haart.
Hello, Victoria.
Thank you for coming on Uncensored Saints.
Thanks for having me on. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to talk to you about just everything. I was looking at your Instagram. I just love you, honestly. We were looking at clips earlier too of your journey on my unorthodox life. And I know that you have grown so much since then, but I do want to start with that.
Sure, let's do it.
Can we do that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool.
So we're on Uncensored Saints, so this is a place to do it.
It's perfect. So when you first started on your journey in that show, I know that you were married.
Yes.
Which is crazy because you were married at 19, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. Okay, so tell me a little bit about that. How did that even happen? How did you guys meet? How did that transpire?
So I grew up in an ultra-Orthodox community in Muncie, New York, which is 45 minutes north of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really small, well, I guess not so small, but a insular community where you're not really interacting with a lot of other people. Mm-hmm. And where I came from, you get married pretty soon after high school. Maybe you have a gap year in Israel where you study Judaic. So that's kind of it. Come home.
Did you do that?
No. I was I don't want to do any more school. I went to, I was not for me, no thank you. I did a culinary course, a kosher one in Brooklyn because, I wanted to go to cosmetology school and do hair. Mm-hmm. But my parents didn't want me being in a secular environment because I was 17 at the time. So they're go to this kosher place. You like to cook. You'll have fun. And then when you turn 18, you can go to cosmetology school.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So that was fun. I like to cook. I never want to be a chef, but...
That's actually amazing.
Yeah.
I hate cooking.
Yeah, now I don't like to cook. But back then, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I did that. When I finished, I was going to start cosmetology school in the summer. I met my ex through family friends. We had, known each other a little bit, but I went to super strict, all-girls high school. Wow. Never spoke to a boy.
Oh my gosh, you're hi.
Yeah, really.
So naive and
very naive,
and innocent.
Really innocent. Yeah. So it was just a safe place. I was able to talk to him around friends and family, mm-hmm. So it was okay. But then we started texting, mm-hmm. and that was a no-no. And
no way.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Why was it so frowned upon to be texting a guy?
Yeah, so you just were you were only supposed to start dating to get married. And I was talking to, at the time, an 18-year-old, and I was 18. And I felt like I had to tell my mom. So I told my mom, and she was like, okay, if you want to text this guy, because I think she was already mentally transitioning out of the society we were in, which was super strict.
Right.
And she was like, but if a guy who, because my parents already wanted me to start dating to get married.
Right.
So they're if a guy comes around that you should marry, then you're going to have to break up with him. But you can text him if you want. You guys can hang out at the house.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
Because I feel dating to get married is you need to date multiple people in order to see what you want or what you don't want. But it sounds like the way that you grew up, it was almost okay, if he's a good suitor, then you need to put all your eggs in this basket.
100%.
Right.
There's no you're dating multiple people at once, which is what I do now.
Yeah.
But
woo!
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, you shouldn't put all your energy in one person in the beginning, I think. It's also really different because where I came from, you had a resume. It was called a shidduch resume, which was a matchmaking resume. And it had where they went to school, what they were maybe studying if they were going to college.
Wow.
References that you can call about them, a job interview basically. Mm-hmm. And this was all about the person you're going to go on one date. So when you went on that, yeah, it was intense.
It was please send me your resume before we go on this date.
It takes a dating profile to a crazy extent where you can call people's friends and family. So when you go on that first date, you know so much about the person that they're already technically a good suitor for you.
Right.
So this was going against all those rules because we met on our own. We were talking on our own without like a mitigator or anything like that.
Right.
And we, we definitely fell in love in the summer.
Right.
Had a beautiful summer fling. He leaves to Israel to do his gap year.
Okay.
And I'm staying back. And we end up talking throughout the year. He comes back. And like, I think the biggest thing where I came from was, God forbid you should have sex before marriage. So you get married to have sex.
Right. Which is such an interesting thing because like we have different, beliefs, but that's very much so in the Christian community as well. It's like they even say it's like it's better that if you're working towards that just for that aspect of marriage, it's better to do that than to sleep with somebody and like before marriage.
Yeah.
So in my mind now, thinking about it, I'm like, no, it's actually not at all. But that's what you grow up on, and that's what the church teaches you, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the rules are like so similar in all religions. Like save yourself for marriage, and that's why they keep everything so separate so that you won't like be tempted to, God forbid, tarnish yourself in any way.
Right. Because your body's a temple, babes.
Yeah. And so then we got married.
Yeah. Like, how long were you dating until you got married?
We were probably, like, together for, I would say, a little over a year, but a lot of that time was long distance.
Okay.
But I think I knew him really well. I don't think there were a lot of surprises when I got married. And I'm really thankful I married my best friend. He was an incredible partner. Like, I'm so thankful for my experience.
Right.
But I also don't think you should pick your life partner at 19.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Honey, you shouldn't pick anything at 19. Especially your life partner.
Definitely not.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, your divorce.
Yes.
When did that happen? How old were you?
I was 28, so it's been a little over a year now.
So you were married for 9 years then? Okay, that's a significant amount of time to be married to somebody. But, like, you actually lived, like, a whole life at that point because 9 years into a marriage from 19 to 28 or 29, like, that's a whole, like, life.
Yeah.
You already lived, and, like, now you're starting over.
Yeah, I'm like a baby in a lot of ways when it comes to dating and, like, certain things, like living on, like, getting my own mail. Never did that. I know that's like really
Was he doing that for you?
He always got the mail.
Really? Okay,
And
like putting out the trash.
Yeah,
like
the trash was easy, but like the mail, like I live in an apartment. I never think about it. I've missed like 2 jury duty summons because I get my mail every 3 months when I remember.
I'm kind of the same way.
Like, I mean, it's not that it's hard. I just like I don't think about it.
I can agree. Like, I'm not like walking out to the mailbox like, woo, let's get the mail.
Yeah, like I went from like living with my parents to living with my husband. So I never had like any alone experience at all.
Wow. So your divorce happened when it was last year.
Yeah.
And that was like pretty public for you, right? Because you were on the show at that point, and the first season you were with him and you were married on the show, and then the second season he was just gone.
Yeah.
Right? So walk me through that a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, how did that, it was probably really hard for you, like being with someone for 9 years and then them just like not being there anymore.
Yeah, oh my God. Absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
I never understood heartbreak until like I experienced it myself because I would like hear about it in movies or music, and I didn't understand like that it's a physical feeling, like you physically feel broken.
Yeah. Like there's like a body part missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that was awful. I don't wish like heartbreak on anyone. It's really sad. And I was definitely miserable for a while. I also didn't think that anybody cared about me until I got divorced because I didn't realize that like so many people were invested in me and my relationship from the first season until it went public. And I thought like, I have a small Instagram following, but I was like, once it went public, like everybody picked it up. And I was like, wow, like people are actually invested in my life. And that was a weird feeling.
Right. So then at that point, were people more invested in like, do you feel like you singly, or do you think like you as a pair?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I think both. I think they were like curious to see where I would go, but they definitely knew me as being with someone.
Yeah. Because I think that's like a hard transition for people. And like in my experience, like what I went through, people get so attached to the story of like you with this person.
Mhm.
And so then it's like very hard to like break that like that picture that people have of like you and this other person. So that's just like why I ask, because like sometimes it's hard to then move on after and just like be your own person and people like connect to that.
Yeah, I think that's why I like the second season a lot, because I feel like you really got to see me start finding myself and figuring things out without me, like the forefront wasn't my divorce. The forefront was like me learning to be single and dating, and I thought that was really nice.
So how is dating in New York?
Dating in New York is great. I think that it gets a bad rap because it's a numbers game. So you have to be willing to like put yourself out there and go on dates. It definitely was. I'll go on like periods of time where I go on a bunch of dates and then I go on no dates because I'm exhausted and I don't want to talk to anyone. But I think what's cool about New York is that you never feel like there's nobody out there, because there's so
millions
many
of people. Right.
Yeah.
So how are you like dating though? Like what is your main source of like finding people? Is it DMs? Is it like Hinge? Is it Bumble? What is it?
I think I've gone on, I would say, the most like Hinge dates. I think dating apps for sure.
Okay.
DMs, I've maybe gone on like 2 DM dates and like they've both been fans, so I don't think I'll ever do that again.
That like scares me a little bit. Like, okay, so what did they say to you in order to like grab your attention?
The first date I ever went on was with a guy that slid into my DMs, and I actually liked it. I don't know if he like knew that. I feel like I actually told him on the date because I just wanted to get it out there, and I was I was like nervous. It was the first date I'd ever gone on, and I liked it because he knew my story. Like I didn't have to tell him anything about my life.
Yeah, which
that felt safe for me at the time. Like I didn't have to be like, oh yeah, I just got divorced. Which I wasn't comfortable at that time saying. So it worked out. But the minute I sat down, like 5 minutes in, he's like, my friends all tell me I'd be amazing on Netflix. And I'm like,
see,
cool.
I was going to say, it's a blessing and a curse when people know you and then you go on a date with them, because like the blessing is, okay, I don't have to like reiterate what people already know. Yeah. But then the curse is like, oh shit, like this person knows everything about me. Like what are their intentions with me? Like do they actually like me, or are they just here to date me because of like whatever they read about me?
Exactly. Whenever now, if I see anyone that starts off a message to me mentioning the show, and I immediately say no. Okay. I just don't respond.
So we've leveled up at this point.
We are not answering. No, that was like the first time I did that, and I was like, never again. But I was happy I did it because I felt comfortable. And then my New Year's resolution was to delete Hinge, though.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you do it?
I did do it.
Oh, my God.
I think I've like gone out on all the Hinge dates that I would go out on.
Right.
With the guys.
You feel like you've expired the app at this point.
So
how do you date then? Like, who are you meeting?
Now, I mean, I'm still on Raya, which is like great for travel. Yeah. But I'm trying to put myself out there and tell friends. And when I meet people, I'm like, I'm single. Set me up with somebody. Because I feel like that's a little bit more my vibe right now, is like in person, trying to be a little bit more out there when I do go out and like not frequent the same places that I always go to.
Right.
To meet new people.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, so you want like a meet cute, probably.
Yeah. I don't need that, but or like someone set me up with a friend.
Right. Someone told me one time, they're like, how do you expect to meet like your husband in like the bar? Because like I'd be like, oh my God, I'm like not meeting anybody, and they're like, well, where are you going? I'm like, what do you mean, babe?
Yeah,
so I'm just at the bar, and they're like, yeah, you're not gonna meet your husband there. I'm like,
I feel like it depends what kind of bar. Like, are people talking, or is it like partying? Like, you're not meeting anyone at a club.
Oh no. Side note, I hate clubs.
Okay, yeah, and
they're so loud. You can't talk. Like, you're just like, you have like your bottle of like champagne. You're like. Like, for sure. Yeah, you're like mouthing shit to each other.
Yeah, that's like a place you can go with people you know, but like you're not meeting anyone there. So this year I'm just trying to be a little more intentional with my time and dates.
Okay.
Because I feel like I've gone on so many that like now I'm taking a step back and I'm being like, okay, I need to know something about this person before I'm giving them any of my time.
Okay, so have you gone on any dates in 2023?
I have. I have a second date later today.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah.
Who is he?
I met him on Raya.
Okay.
which generally I think like people are really bored over the holidays because like it's usually the worst app ever. Yeah. Great for travel. Like I've gone on some really great dates when I'm visiting.
Yeah,
a city.
I'm not on there, but a lot of my friends are, and they think it's like great.
Yeah, like in New York, it sucks. You match with the same people. Nobody ever messages anybody.
Right. It's just kind of like,
yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, or I'll go out and I'll be like, I've seen you on the app. I've seen you. But, like, I'm not going to talk to you now if you can't, like, message me or something. Right. But I think people are just bored over the holiday, so everyone was really active on it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, second date. I think I'm going to have a nice time, so I'm excited.
So this is your second date with this guy?
This guy.
Okay, so that means you actually see potential with him, no?
Yeah, I had a nice time. I'm trying to be like a little bit more open-minded also if I had a nice time going out again and not being like, oh, well, I don't see you.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
So what was your first date with him?
We just had drinks. I have this thing where what I'm trying not to do is I did like a back-to-back, you know, like a drinks and then a drinks with somebody else. You like pre-grade the second drink.
Like you had two dates lined up.
Yeah, like if I'm getting out and ready, then I'm like, I might as well get 2 first dates out of the way.
It's 2 for 1.
Yeah. I love a 2 for 1.
I love it. Yeah, no, for 2 for 1 for sure.
And so the first one, so I like cut it off really short. Like I give them like an hour and a half of time. And if I have a nice time, then I'll want to see them again and we can do it again. And if I don't, then like I didn't waste my time because I pre-gamed my next date.
I like that.
But I'm trying not to do it anymore.
For the second one. Okay, so my question for that, the follow-up is, do you like plan that out where you're like, I'm probably going to like the second guy better, so let me pre-game with the first guy because he's like probably not going to be great for the second guy?
It really depends. Like at first date, so I really don't know.
Yeah. What are the qualifications though and like your dates?
To go on a date?
Or no, just like in general, like if you're vibing with the guy, like what are the qualifications that he has to meet in order for a second date?
Ooh, good question. Like what are my non-negotiables?
Yeah, I like it. Non-negotiables.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't say like as a rule, but generally they can't snore. I ask all these questions on a first date.
No, for sure. Like, you're not allowed to snore.
No, do not snore, because then I'll never be able to share a bed with you. Yeah. Like, it's just not going to happen. Yeah. So, like, immediately no. Also, like, I mean, I won't go on a date with someone, like, depending on their job. Like, if there's going to be zero flexibility.
Okay. Like if they're, like, a workaholic and...
Not necessarily a workaholic, but, like, someone who, let's say a doctor, like, has to be in an office every single day. Like, there's no option to be a doctor and work remotely, really.
Right.
Like, I need someone who's, like, slightly flexible because my job is really flexible. I like to travel, you know, something like that. I wouldn't say that, like, I only go out with Jewish guys. The second date guy was not Jewish, but I think it's my preference.
Yeah. Like, what does a guy have to say? Like, what has been a turnoff for you where you're like, absolutely fucking not?
Oh, I went on a date when, like, I don't know, on Sunday, a first date. This guy, it was my mistake because I gave him a dinner because I was supposed to have drinks with him, but then my dinner got canceled.
Oh, so there's, like, separate, okay, I see what you're saying.
And
like, there's a date where it's, like, drinks, and then there's, like, a date where it's, like, dinner and drinks.
Yeah, like, a dinner is usually, it could be a second date, but I usually don't say yes to a dinner date for first because you're stuck.
That's true. For like 2 hours.
Yeah, like you're going to have an appetizer, a main, and like you can usually get out of a dessert, but like it's a possibility.
You're like, there's a possibility for a dessert, and we are not saying it.
No, if I'm not enjoying my time, like I want to be able to get out of there. Yeah. So, like, it's easy to do that on drink. You could be like, oh, my God, I have an early morning meeting.
Yeah, like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, like, I can only do one drink tonight.
My dog, he's sick.
Yeah. There's just so many easier outs.
I gotta go vacuum my neighbor's driveway. So, goodbye.
I've never done anything like that, but I'll just, like, blame things on work. But dinner, it's very hard to get out of dinner while you're there. So I made the mistake of saying yes to dinner because I didn't have any dinner plans, and I'm like, I have to eat. So I'll just,
so hungry,
you know? And, well, one of the first things was he takes me to an Italian place, and as we're looking at the menu and I was, like, talking about it, he was like, oh, I don't really eat pasta. And I'm like, well, why'd you take me to an Italian spot? And he's like, well, I heard good things. I'm like, okay, already I don't like you because I don't like people who are, like, too intense about the food that they eat. Yeah. Like, if you're going to an Italian place, like, have pasta.
1,000%. Was
Yeah.
he like worried about his figure or something?
Yes, he was very into his health.
Babe, it's carbs.
Too
Carb
into
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Too into his health. That's like a no for me.
Mm.
I want someone who's like mindful, likes to work out, stay in shape, but like eat a piece of pasta.
Yeah.
Then they had like sent us drinks, which was really nice on the house. And he finishes something and he like calls a waiter over and asks for a glass of wine. Does not look at me and ask if I want a drink.
Oh, you're kidding.
Like, doesn't even, like, acknowledge my presence, so, like, we're both having a meal together. Looks at the waiter and says, can I get a glass of Cabernet? And then the waiter looks at me and he was like, do you want something? And I was like, yes,
Thanks
actually,
for asking, waiter. Thank you. Whoever the waiter was, thank you.
So, like, that, I mean, I already knew as it was going on that it was going to be a no, but after he did that, like, don't be rude.
Oh, that's so rude. So then how did the rest of the day go? What did you say to get out of it?
I just, like, we didn't do, I just said, no, I'm not hungry for dessert.
Right.
Made it clear when we were leaving. Like, I took my step, you know, like, don't come too close to me or get any ideas. And then he took me home, and that was it. I mean, dropped me off at my hotel.
Yeah.
I was away for the weekend, and that was it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a no. Don't be rude. How do you treat
rude.
people?
Yeah.
Like, wait staff and people wherever you are.
We were literally just having this conversation. Like, you can tell so much about a person by the way they treat their waitress or waiter.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, when you're in customer service like that, because I've been there, and I know that, like, it's not, you don't want to be, like, talked to down. You know? Like, people, I don't know. Just in that industry, it's just always be nice. Always tip well.
Yeah.
If a guy's not tipping well, I'm like, I'm fucking out on you.
Yeah.
Goodbye forever.
Yeah. It's like there's a lot of things you can tell about a person.
So
that was a no.
So he's out. Goodbye forever.
But I did this happened last night. I didn't even like tell my friends yet.
Oh my God. Yay. Tell me.
Yeah, this was fun. I went on a date with a guy, a friend set up.
Okay. This is good.
This is good. I was like excited. We go on a date. And I didn't do it back to back. I did a 1 drink date and ended up being a really long date. It was very nice. Mm-hmm. Find out he actually lives in my building, very New York City.
Whoa.
Yeah, like, but the other elevator bank. So, like, I've never seen him before.
Okay.
And, like, I've been living there for 2 years, and it's just funny that I haven't seen him.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, we were, like, talking about where we live. I come home last night at, like, I don't know, 10:30, 11, like, right off the plane, and I see there's, like, a note under my door. And I opened it up, and he had written me, like, a note asking me out on a second date. At first, I thought I had a stalker in the building.
You're like, who in the fuck is this?
They're like, I know you just got back from Miami.
Like, oh,
and I was literally, like, about to dial my mom and, like, start freaking out that someone knows my apartment number. Yeah. And then I see the bottom, and it says his name, and I was like, oh, that's sweet.
That's so sweet. Yeah. So this was last night?
This was last night. So I'm going to see him on Sunday.
You like him. I can tell.
I had a nice time.
You're like smiling about it.
I thought it was very thoughtful, but like could have been really creepy. But, like,
actually,
only
because I was like,
why did you?
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, wait, you told him your like apartment number. That's actually scary.
Yeah, I guess
what if he's
like
a crazy person?
Since it was a friend setup, it was like a mutual friend.
She's already done all of the research for you, exactly. So you don't have to worry if he's like a stalker.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Is he
fun.
Jewish as well?
He's Jewish, yeah.
Okay, well, that's good.
Both the second date boys are Jewish.
Okay, so they are checking the boxes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are dating, you're living your best life. Like, what does it mean now? Because I know that you have sort of branched off. Like, you probably are still in your faith, right?
I'm, like, very proud Jewish, but I wouldn't consider myself religious.
Okay. And I love that because I think, like, having a relationship with God is, like, your own personal thing, and you don't have to be considered religious in order to love God.
For sure.
Right? But since then, you've been, like, on Instagram just, like, living your best life and, like, into fashion and all that stuff. Like, you weren't able to do that before.
Yeah, I definitely, like, the first time I ever posted a bikini photo, and it was very tasteful. It wasn't like, you know, ass out kind of thing, was like 2021.
Okay.
Like in the summer.
Right.
And then I remember I, like, started posting, like, more, like, bikini stuff or slightly more revealing once, like, me and my ex had split. because, like, he was more modest and, like, I was very respectful of his feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I was single, I was like, I can post whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
And I remember my friend messaging me, and she was like, wow, like, I've never seen, like, your body before. And
You're like,
I was like, well, it's always been here. You just haven't seen it.
Right. Because you weren't even really allowed to wear pants.
Yeah, I didn't wear pants until I was 27.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Mm-hmm. Pretty crazy.
Like, can we just think about that for a second? Like, you were not wearing pants until you were 27 years old.
Yeah, it was sad.
To me, like, I can't even wrap my head around that because it's just like, what? So that's more of based off your religion, or was that more his preference?
That was religion based. Like, I grew up, like, I only wore skirts past my knee, covered my elbow, collarbone. Like, you don't show anything really. Like, you're really modest, and that was how I was brought up, and that's how I was when I married him. And even though we both, like, transitioned slowly to be more modern Orthodox, it was still something that I understood it. We were brought up that it was wrong. It was, like, a bad thing to do.
So interesting.
So, like, I was respectful of his feelings, of course, and until I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm going to do this.
Right. And I feel like I understand why women do that for, like, their partner or for, like, religious beliefs. I just think it's, like, really hard for me to wrap my head around, especially, like, sitting here with you. Like, you're stunningly beautiful and, like, you're into fashion and you're so cool. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's actually crazy. So, like, were you, like, trying to make fashion work with, like, long skirts?
I was. I started my Instagram page in 2017, and I would post, like, in my skirts.
You're like this,
and
with, like, your long skirt?
Yeah, no, for real, though.
Not showing your elbows.
And it's funny because I, like, as the time went on, my skirts got, like, shorter and shorter until they're, like, little mini skirts.
Yeah, you're, like, trying. You're like, okay.
Yeah, it's a skirt, but, like, your ass could hang out, too. And I would tell him that. I was like, do you really think me wearing a pair of sweatpants or jeans is more, like, immodest than me wearing a little mini skirt? And it was just, like, the mentality behind wearing pants versus skirts that didn't necessarily make sense.
Right.
But it was just how we were taught. So that was my argument. Like, that was my statement to be like,
get that.
This doesn't really make sense. And when he thought about it more, he was like, I understand.
Yeah. So I guess my, like, biggest question for you is that, like, why you ultimately split was because you guys were kind of just on different pages with that?
Yeah, I think we were,
like,
really good. Yeah, I think we were really good at, like, even though I was doing my own thing and I would, like, press an elevator button on Shabbat, like, we kept, like, so on Shabbat, you don't, like, if you're fully observant, you don't use, like, electronics, elevators, cars, TV. You don't go out, really. You, like, hang out with friends and family.
And Shabbat would be
like, sundown Friday night to sundown Saturday. So, like, a full, like, 25 hours. And I would, like, didn't keep it as much towards the end. And he was fine with that. Like, I can do my own thing. But when, like, I was 28 and we were talking about starting a family, and I'm like, I want my kids to be able to watch TV Saturday morning. And he's like, I don't want them to do that. Like, I want them to be raised in, like, a strictly religious home or kosher. We would eat dairy and fish out, which was, like, more lenient. I didn't grow up eating like that. I only ate at kosher restaurants. And he's like, I want my kids to only eat at kosher restaurants. And I was like, we just don't see eye to eye anymore on a family. So before we get to that point, like, let's end things while there's still, like, love and respect. And we're both really young still. Like, it's not too late to find someone and start a family with them at 28 or 29.
Yeah.
So that was definitely, like, one of the major factors in us being like, this isn't working anymore.
Right. Yeah. And it's interesting. Like, you, like we said before, like, you experience, like, a whole life, like 9 years married, and now you've entered into this stage where, like, you're still so young, you have so much life ahead of you, and, like, I think I saw something like you've entered into, like, a hoe phase.
I wrote so I
need to know all about this.
So I had done, like, a TikTok in the summer, and I described when I first started dating as my hinge hoe phase.
Okay. Yeah, what does that mean?
I just like hinge and hoe. It just, like, sounded
like
right.
Wait, is it hinge hoe or hoe hinge?
Hinge hoe,
Hinge.
I feel like. Just
like
it just meant like I was going out on like a million dates.
Okay.
With a million people, talking to so many. I just did not care about anybody or anything. Like I wasn't looking, I was so emotionally unavailable.
Right.
And I was just looking to, like, it was really fun in the beginning, going on dates and meeting new people and like having new experiences, like things I never did before. So I was just like, I did an episode, I have a podcast and I called it like, you know, my Hinge hoe phase. And was more talking about if you are in a relationship and you get out of one, like everybody should have a Hinge hoe phase before you start actually dating.
Right.
Like get that out of your system.
You
have
need it
fun.
out of your system.
Yeah.
And I think too, like hearing you talk about that, like I feel like I went through that when I was young. Yeah. You know, and almost you didn't get that experience because you got married so young. Like you were 19 when you got married. So now you're entering into this new phase of like, I'm going to date a million people right now and get this out of my system. Yeah. But I agree with you. You have to go through that period of like figuring out like what works for you, but ultimately what doesn't work for you and what you don't want in a partner. And you probably experienced that more times than not going through a hoe phase.
Yeah. It was just like, and I had to like explain to people, I didn't mean like sleeping around. Right. It was more just like going out with so many people and just like not having a care about it. Right. And now I feel like because I experienced all that, like now I'm much more mindful about my dates. And that's why I'm not going to be on Hinge anymore. Like I don't need that experience, even though I think Hinge is great for a lot of people. Totally. I just like feel like I have exhausted it and I'm like, moving on to different things.
Yeah. I love that. So you and your mom were going through a divorce at the same time, which is awful, obviously, but almost there's like a beauty in it where you guys are able to like lean on one another.
Yeah, I think like I'm so thankful for my divorce experience because I had like as positive as a split as you can have. Like I had that experience and I'm so thankful. Like my mom is going through a miserable divorce and that's like really hard. I think I obviously like I have a lot more compassion for her because I like truly understand the splitting part, but I can't relate to her at all in like the miserable part because her like partner completely went against her and I'm like so thankful that I was with someone that we were able to end things like really amicably and like when I see him like we catch up and it's really nice. To be able to have that reunion. I think when my mom first went through her divorce, like if you watch the show, like I was not emotionally available to like be as supportive as I could. Let's say if I was in the mental space that I am in today. Right. Because I was just like still
you're going through your own thing. Yeah, you're going through your own stuff. It's very hard to be there for somebody else when you emotionally can't even be there for yourself. So it's like you're trying to weed through your own shit. Like taking on your mom's stuff, I'm sure was very hard for you. Yeah. Too. Aww.
Yeah. So is she
doing well?
Yeah, she's a fighter.
Good.
And she'll come out on top.
Well, she raised you, so I'm sure she's wonderful.
She's the best. Aww. Very thankful for her. And I have like all, even, you know, like when my parents split, like I have so much respect for her going through. Like, even me, I had this, like, big life change from going from being religious, not religious, and being on my own. And my mom did all of that without the support of anyone. And I experienced all that. Like, I moved into my mom's house when I split, and I had so much, like, care and attention on me. And my mom did all those things on her own. So I definitely have, like, a much deeper appreciation for everything that she's gone through because I got to taste a little bit of it myself.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah. So it's funny because my mom has also, you know, she is, I don't know if she's on Hinge, but she's definitely on Raya. And
I mean, damn. Her mom's on Raya? Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Raya. And like, I remember that there's this one guy that I was talking to on Hinge. And
did you guys match with the same person? Shut the fuck up.
Oh, it gets worse. It gets a lot worse. Fuck. This guy, he messages, I'm, like, messaging him a little bit, and he, like, never asked me out. So I just, like, you know, you forget about the person. Right. Then we match on Raya. I guess I had liked his profile, like, months before because, you know, it doesn't show you people the same time. And he messages me, and he's like, oh, haha, Hinge and Raya. And I was like, it's only funny if you ask me out. Like, something like that.
Right,
kind of like, why are you even messaging me here? He, like, responded, like, I'm traveling and I'll be back soon. I'll reach out then. Reaches out and he's like, I'm sorry, it's been such a long time. Like, I clicked on your Instagram and I realized I've actually gone out with your mom. I just wanted to, like, put it out there for you to let you know. And I'm like, ew, as if I would want to go out with you when you went out with my mom. And I called my mom and I told her about it and she was freaking out.
Wait a second.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
We need to talk about this.
Out.
That's actually insane. Because also, too, like, the first thing that came to my mind was like, oh, shit, do you and your mom, like, talk about, like, who do you match with?
Yeah, my mom likes the younger boys right now.
Right.
So,
like, that's
our age bracket is generally very similar. And I'll have,
God.
So, like, thankfully, I feel like the guys that I'm interested in aren't, like, interested in my mom. Like, they're looking for something more, like, serious.
Right.
Whereas, like, dating my mom, I feel like if you're really young is more of, like,
it's fun. For fun. Yeah. It's for fun right now because she's also in this phase of her life where she's probably like, I don't want anything serious after getting out of a marriage of how many years? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so she's probably just like looking for a good time. But
yeah, do you know that sound on TikTok? It's like, not funny, haha, funny, weird. I don't know if you've heard that sound.
No, I haven't heard that yet.
But it's a cute sound, and I did like when you and your mom match with the same person, and I'm like, it's not funny, haha, it's funny, weird.
Wait, that's so funny. So why? So you didn't end up going out with the guy. But she never ended up seeing him again, probably, right?
Oh, no. She had already ended. I had heard about this guy because my mom had told me about him.
Oh, shit.
That he was, like, really intense.
Oh, wow.
And then, like, I just didn't, like, it was a very classic name. I didn't put two and two together that it would be the same guy.
Right.
And then I told her, and she was like, how gross.
That's actually fucking amazing. Okay, so what is next for you? Like, you were on the show and now you're like just living your best life. What are you doing?
Yeah, so I have a podcast that I just started.
That's amazing. What is it called?
It's called Heart to Heart.
Okay, cool.
And
play on words.
Exactly. And doing, talking about my life, a lot of experiences.
Yeah.
And then having on some guests. So that's something like a new project that I'm doing that I'm really excited about.
That's so exciting.
Hopefully we'll get season 3. We haven't found out yet.
Aww.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
And I just think, I'm moving down to Miami for a month.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Okay, wait, where in Miami?
South Beach.
Okay, so I have a lot of friends in Miami. I had I guess you could call it my home phase, but I was in Miami. My best friend Kelly lived there, or she lives there right now. But I was single, and I would go to Miami once a week, and so we would just rip it up. We were just doing the whole Miami scene, and it was so much fun. When you're single, Miami is the spot to be. You want to be in Miami if you're single.
Yeah, so that's why I'm I don't have anything holding me back right now. Right. My lease is up the end of the month, and I'm I've always wanted to try Miami out. I'm going to go for a month, maybe 2. And then I'll come back and
you're going to love it.
Yeah.
You're going to absolutely love it. It's going to be so good for you because everyone's just going to love you. You're stunningly beautiful, but it's just such a good time.
And it's the winter. February in New York is the worst month ever.
Right. Yeah, you want to get out of the cold, go to the heat. Miami is the place to be, baby. Yeah. So good.
I'm excited. So that's what's coming up for me.
That's so exciting. Yeah. Yay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so fun. I do want to play a little game.
Sure.
It's called Unpopular Opinion.
Love.
Okay, Unpopular Opinion.
Yes.
Which, everyone knows what this game is. I don't have to explain it. Okay, Unpopular Opinion. Dry January is an excuse to make people feel better about themselves.
Oh, definitely.
Don't you think?
I don't understand
dry fucking January?
Yeah, no,
are you kidding me?
You're also drinking so much sugar instead. Is that better for you? No.
Thank you. I agree. This one's good. Unpopular opinion, but nobody cares about the dream you had last night.
It's a good one. Most likely, yeah. Unless it's about me. If I'm in it, then I may care.
Yeah, no, for sure. What am I doing, babes?
Yeah.
But, I don't want to hear about your dreams.
No, I'm good.
Also, I don't have this written down, but unpopular opinion, I tend to do this, but I don't really care. Your astrological sign.
Oh.
I don't really care.
Yeah.
Do you care?
No. I like when
What
people
are you, though?
I'm a Pisces. It's my birthday next month.
Oh, my God. Happy early birthday.
I'll be in Miami for my 30th, so I'm excited.
Holy shit. That is so exciting. What are you going to do?
A birthday weekend. It's going to be like a mini bachelorette party. That's what I figured.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Just for, like, your 30th.
Yeah.
30, flirty, and
People are
thriving.
coming. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to be on a yacht.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. You're in Miami.
Yeah.
Of course, no, literally. Okay, love this. Unpopular opinion, Ben Affleck seems like a good guy.
I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I don't think he seems like a good guy. I think he seems like a liar and a piece of shit.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I like, did you watch the Jennifer Lopez documentary?
No.
Okay, you must. It's really amazing.
Okay, wait, tell me. What did she say about him?
It was just, she didn't talk about him. I don't know if they were together at that point.
They're married now, right?
Yeah. I think that it was before they were together, but she was just like talking about like all the relationships that she's been in and all of herself that she's given to people.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets like, and she's like the most stunning, beautiful, talented human being, and she gets like cheated on and thrown to the side.
Right.
So it's just like you want the best for her, and then you wonder if Ben Affleck is the best. And then you think maybe
you know
not.
What? She's such a queen. It's like, he's kind of a dud. I'm like, J-Lo, what are you doing, babes?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Okay. Allergies are a sign of weakness.
Yes. I've gotten shit about this, but yes, I do. I do agree until like I have a stomach thing now, and now I feel like bad for shitting on everyone.
Yeah, that's how it always happens.
There definitely until you have something, then you're like, no, it's for real.
No, like when someone like gets sick around me, I'm like so well.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, your immune system, there's something wrong with it. It's compromised.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am stronger than you in every way.
Exactly.
Okay,
until
so
you have something, and I was like,
yeah, and then I'm like, no, guys, it's the virus. It's not me. Running is an enjoyable hobby.
Fuck no. Absolutely not. I mean, I understand like maybe for a little bit, but like whenever I hear people, I my sister ran the marathon.
Yeah.
And it was so amazing to watch.
Yeah.
And
to watch. She's like over there like a little cheerleader. Like, go.
Yeah, I made a sign.
Oh, that's cute.
I was at the end. Yeah. Great place to be. Right. Not one moment when I was watching this inspiring event did I think I want to do this.
Like, I want to participate.
Not at all. No thanks. I don't like to be sweaty like that.
No. And like my legs.
No,
they just like hurt without running. So like, why would I subject myself to that?
Not about it.
Yeah, so we're like not runners.
I like to power walk. I love a hot girl walk.
Oh, I love a hot girl walk. Yeah. Just like a even pace.
Yeah. Your heart rate can get elevated that way.
You can sweat still. Just not too much.
Yeah, not too much.
That's amazing. Okay. All purple clothing should be burned. Unpopular opinion.
Purple or lavender? Because I like lavender, but purple, I agree.
Really?
I'm not a purple
so
person.
You're thinking of like a dark purple. Yeah. I'm thinking like all purple just kind of sucks in general.
I like lavender though.
You do?
Yeah.
I could see you being a lavender girl. Periwinkle or like a light pink. Like you're just like girly.
Yeah,
I like
some
it.
girly
Very
stuff.
feminine. Okay. And so our last segment with Uncensored Saints is
Let's do it.
The confessional. Dun dun dun. Okay, so for this segment, I want you to tell me one thing that you've never told anyone before. And it can't be that you and your mom dated the same person. Because
that would have been great. I feel like I gave so many confessions up tonight.
You did.
Oh, I have a great one.
Tell me.
I realized in my bag over here that I have a condom in my bag, but I don't have perfume. And like I always have perfume. But I have a condom instead. Practice safe sex. But I would have rather the perfume when I was going through my bag today. And I was just like, oh my God. Wow. I feel like that's a good confession.
I actually love that. By the way, practice safe sex. You heard it here. Yeah. That's fucking amazing. I could just see you like scrambling through your bag, like trying to get like perfume out.
I'm like, where's my perfume? And I mean, I pull out a condom. I'm like, cool, this is really unhelpful right now. Maybe later.
TBD. Batsheva, thank you so much for coming on my podcast. You're just the sweetest thing ever. Tell everyone where we can find you on social media.
Thank you for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Yay. It was so
nice
much fun
to meet you.
I know. So good to meet you.
Follow me at Batsheva Haart on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube.
And that's 2 A's, right? In
yes.
Heart? Okay, cool.
Haart. And you can listen to my podcast, Heart to Heart.
Heart to Heart, baby.
Everywhere podcasts are listened to.
I love this for us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
This was awesome.
Yay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.